for just a couple of announcements. Again, we are moving some of these things around. So this is what we are working on in class today, the formative assessment. It has the F. Remember, those assignments with the F are worth 40% of your grade. So this is something you want to finish. If we don't finish in class, we are giving you time after class. So you basically have the whole weekend to finish whatever slides it is we didn't get, well, that you didn't get to finish during our time here in class. So the assignment we're working on today is called docks slope triangles. We're only looking at slides 1 through 12. So you'll have slides 1 through 17, but you are not responsible for all of them. You're only responsible for 1 through 12. So all the way to 12. We're moving this assignment here from slope from a graph to Monday. So you don't have to worry about that one. Right, Doc? Or what did we agree for the
12.
slope from a graph?
1 to 12?
Yeah, no. The homework assignment here. I wasn't sure if I caught that right. If you said you were going to switch this one to Monday or move it around?
Well, they're all due Monday. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah, that was always due Monday. So yeah.
Okay, good.
The only reason why the formative was due today was because I thought that we would have it done today.
All right. So again, we do have this homework assignment here. We should have time to review it, and which is good because it'll be there in our video for the other students from the other periods to look at. We'll try to get through quickly a quick example of showing how to complete it, but it's a Google Forms and it should tell you if you get an answer correct or wrong on that homework assignment. And yes, you can resubmit an answer, fix your answers until you get 100% basically, but we'll talk about that later. Other than that, don't forget, if you are having trouble with any of these assignments, you need to come see us during office hours. It's going to be so beneficial for you. We try to work with you one-on-one and see what works for you. So if you're having any hard time with the slides that we're working on today, that's already a red flag or a red light to you to tell you, okay, maybe you should go see them during office hours. You don't have to be there the whole hour. Just as soon as you get it, you're free to go. So all assignments are due on Monday. So now you basically have your week 1 assignments, your week 2 assignments, your week 1 notebook, week 2 notebook. If you haven't turned all of those things in yet, all of that is due by Monday, which Doc is going to be sending you guys a progress report too. I don't know if you talked about the progress report.
I did at the very beginning.
Okay.
Or a last period. But this period, yeah, I'm going to send you guys a progress report just like I did on Tuesday. Remember, it's going to be a blank document. Do not hit submit until you guys can see your progress report, and I will send you guys a message, a private message that says ready. If you see the message that says ready, then you know to go into the progress report and look at it. And it'll have everything that you guys have done up to today. So like today's activity for today, that's not being included. The homework that's for today is not being included. No, wait, I lied. All of that is, but I'm going to send 2. One is going to be to your parents. That is going to have nothing that's due on Monday. It's just the grade that you guys have right now. Then you personally will have another one where it's going to have everything that's due Monday in that progress report as if it's missing, just so that you guys can kind of get like a checklist of what you guys still need to get done. Does that make sense? So don't freak out going, oh my God, like, why is she doing this? It is just for you guys to have a checklist and to see how would it affect your grade if you guys did not do it. So again, you guys will get 2 progress reports, one that gets sent to your parents through email. That's going to be just what your grade is as of right now. I still have a couple of things that I still need to grade, so I'm working on that. And then you guys will get a second one that's basically going to have everything for Monday read, so that it'll give you guys a checklist of what to still do over the weekend. So hopefully it's not that much. A lot of you guys have been doing, some of your work out of, so let's just see, how well you guys do. And again, you don't want to do that much work over the weekend. Do it during the week. We make it so that you guys can do that. We don't want to give you guys homework over the weekend.
And today's homework assignment is only a couple questions long, but very similar to what we've been doing. Okay, so again, all of your assignments are due by 4 p.m. Make sure to pick if you want hybrid or distance learning. We talked about this. You can go to the parent portal, do this by March 21st. Parent conferences are still on for next week. And I believe Doc has a little form for how to access that.
Yeah, so real quick, let me share
Yes.
just so that you guys can see it. And you're not going to be able to see it until Monday. It'll be posted not only in, like, I'll have this in our homeroom. It'll have like a parent conference, and it'll be a link for you guys to click. But this is also going to be in our the school website. So like if you guys go to CVUSD like website or CV whatever
CV
acronym,
High School.
CV High School website, and then you guys just look for whichever teacher you guys have. So like if you're looking for me, it's right here. You would just find Yahida Brown, click on that, and then it'll open it up. No, I don't want to leave this Zoom so that I can go to that. But again, if you have anyone else like Alexander Koo, you would just click on his and it would direct you to his. It just depends on who you have. Do you have to go to all 6 of your teachers? No. You just need to go to whichever teacher you guys want, or whichever teacher your parent wants, because it's all about your parents and what they want. So it just depends on what they want, but you'll have access to that starting Monday. So by the time I see you guys on Monday, it'll be in your Google Classroom and be there.
All right. So that's on Tuesday. Parent conferences will remind you on Monday. Other than that, there are 79 days left in this semester until June 3rd. But if you get rid of your Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays that we don't actually meet here in class, it gets a lot smaller than that. So about 40-ish days left. If you need to come see us during tutoring, click on this laptop here. That is your link for tutoring. All right, so I see some of you are already trying to join on Desmos. So for today, you want to go into your Google Classroom. Okay, for today, you want to go into Google Classroom. We're just getting started, so you're joining us right at the right time here. Go to Google Classroom, classwork. You'll want to look for the class docs slope triangles. So I am going to get that link and send that link to everybody in the chat. If you go into the chat, you'll find the link to the Desmos activity there. Click on it and it'll take you directly to this assignment. Right now, it'll show up like this as activity paused. Let's see. Rigo, thank you for being there. Brian, Luis, I see you. Mariela, Katrina, Shailene, Drake, Jose, Andres, Estrella, Ashley, Melanie, Erica, oh, both Melanies, Aaron, all of you guys are joining us on there. So I'm actually gonna unpause this. There isn't anything that we're really doing here on this page other than a couple of definitions. So there isn't anything you have to worry about here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so this whole week, we've been talking about slope. We've been seeing what it looks like in tables. We've gotten a little preview of how we work on finding slope through 2 points, but the remaining of this week has really been focused on finding slope of a line on a graph. And we keep talking about that rise over run. How many units are we going up or down? And how many units are we going left to right? So you want to remember that in those directions have either positive signs or negative signs. And also, you want to remember your different types of slopes. When we write the word slope on the line, it gives us a little hint if it's going to be a positive slope, a negative slope, or if we have that little Spider-Man, the only one that can climb up the building, that's an undefined slope. The zero slope is just where we have our line, our word slope written just regularly from left to right. So when we talk about slope, we're really looking at a ratio, which a ratio is just a fraction. How are your y's changing? How are we going up or down? How are your x's changing? How many units are you moving left to right? That's all that is. And we always use this letter M, or at times we'll be using the letter M to talk about slope. So whenever you see M or M equals, that's just asking you for the slope. We also refer to the slope as the rate of change of a line. And going forward in this activity, we always write our slope as a fraction, because a ratio can be written as a fraction. Make sure your slope is always as a fraction. What's cool though is that this activity will show you slope as a decimal, just so you see how things are, how these slopes are related or similar. All right, so I have opened up slide 2. So everybody click next on slide to get to slide 2. You don't have to do anything on slide 1. Don't worry about that one, but follow me along to slide 2. This is where we are actually going to be doing some work. All right, so this slide you really want to pay attention to. This slide is basically telling you how to complete all of the other slides that we're going to assign to you on your own. All right, so here we have a line. This black line is the line that we will be finding the slope to. We're going to show you how you can draw triangles or make triangles with this line to find the slope. Some triangles will be on the bigger side, some triangles will be on the smaller side. On this slide here, they've already given you a rise and a run. And if you notice, when I connect this rise to this point here and to my run, I end up with a triangle. So we call this a slope triangle. So whenever you hear us refer to a slope triangle, we're just basically connecting our rise with our run to that line. Okay, so I want you guys to take a look at your rise here. How many units are we going up? And how many units are we going to the right? And write in that slope here as a fraction. You must be in the habit already of thinking of slope as rise on the top. The number that is our rise goes above, and the number that is our run goes in the bottom. So when, there we go. Good job, Andres. All right, so our rise and our run for this line, just by looking at that triangle that they gave us, is 6 as our rise over 8. So our slope for this line is just 6 over 8. Now notice this is a pretty big triangle on our graph. These 2 points are really far away from each other. When I look at this point on the left to this point on the right, they're really far away from each other. We could have actually found another point in between here to have helped us find 2 points that were closer to each other. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to use the point 0, 1, and we're going to draw a smaller slope triangle. And we want to draw this triangle on the line to the right side of that line. We're going to be using the color purple, and we're going to label the legs with the numbers of the rise and the run. So where you guys should have the pencil selected right now. I want you guys to go to the color option and select the purple. We are going to be starting at point 0, 1. So go to point 0, 1. Draw a little circle there. If you have any issues drawing on this table here, on this graph, please let us know so that we can help you out. Sometimes refreshing these pages helps too. It also helps a lot more if you are on the iPad rather than a phone. So whenever we're doing these Desmos activities, you want to have Zoom on either your phone or some other device if you have two devices. If you don't, that's okay. But if you can have two devices, switch. Your Desmos should always be on the iPad. Desmos doesn't work that well with your phone. All right, so I see you guys already getting ahead of me and drawing a triangle. So yeah, so you want to draw a triangle, but you want to draw it on the right side. So we draw a triangle by connecting your two dots with legs. So I'm going to go ahead and use this point over here with my point 0, 1, and I'll use my rise and my run here to give me my slope triangle. So notice I went down 3 and I went to the left 4. And you can count it this way, 1, 2, 3. That was 3 down, -3. And I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So that's a -4. Think of your directions. If you're going down, that's a negative number. If you're going left, that is a negative number. Drawing a triangle with legs is going to help you find that slope. So let's go ahead in here and let's type this in. But before we do that, I want to point out that a negative number being divided by a negative number is positive. So our slope here, -3 over -4, is +3 over +4. So that's just the fraction 3/4. Okay, quickly here, I want to point out that our 6/8, when you type that in, it gave you a decimal. Remember, we don't work with decimals, but this activity is just giving you an idea of what that number looks like in a decimal form. 6/8 is the same as 75/100 or 0.75. 3/4 is the same as 0.75. So you want to pick up on these two numbers, these two fractions, these two decimals. What are you noticing there? All right, and that noticing what's going on here will help us later on this section. All right, I want you guys to try this one here. It says use the point 0, 1. So we're going back to 0, 1. You're going to draw another smaller slope triangle, but on the left side of this line. And you're going to use the green. So click on the green color, switch to green. Start at point 0, 1, again, here in the middle. And this time you want to make another triangle, but on the left side of this graph. So we could pick this point again, but because I want to give you a different example, I'm just going to pick the point on the bottom here. And I'm going to draw myself another triangle using the rise and the run. So here I have another slope triangle, this green triangle. And I'm doing it on the left side because I'm following directions there. Okay, think of your rise. I am going 1, 2, 3 times going up, which is a +3. And my run is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the right. So our slope here, rise over run, is 3/4. So once you've typed in your 3/4, go ahead and click submit and explain. And this is going to bring up a new little box here that wants you to explain your thinking. So at this point, what are you noticing between all of these different triangles we had and our slope? The triangle gave us 6/8, which was 75 hundredths. The smaller triangle here on the right side, the purple one, gave us 3/4, which is still 0.75. And the green triangle on the left side gave us 3/4, which is still 0.75. What would we be able to explain? What can we see that is going on here? What do you notice with the slopes? So tell me what is going on with the slopes. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds there. See if you can come up with the sentence that explains what is going on here with our slopes. Good job, Melanie. Mariela, very good. Good job. All right, so for those students that I'm saying, good job, Melanie, Mariela, very good. What I'm seeing here, what they're doing correctly is just telling me what they notice about all of those slopes. They are telling me that they are equal. The slopes are equal. They're saying the slopes are the same, okay? I like that somebody is explaining the shapes, that the smaller triangles have the same slope as the bigger triangle. Oh, I like that someone said when you combine the two small triangles, you get the bigger triangle. That's true. Good, very, very good. So really just notice that if you have a big triangle, you get a fraction with bigger numbers. But when you have a smaller triangle to find your slope, your fraction is simplified. All right, so we're moving on to the next question here. What slope do you find using these two other small triangles? So what slope did we find when we had the purple triangle and the green triangle? Not too difficult, just making you make connections here. Very good job on this. Yes, that is just 3/4. That's it. So the slope we find using the two smaller triangles is 3/4. Our rise was 3, our run was 4. So in this activity, you are going to be drawing slope triangles on these lines. And keep in mind that when you have a bigger triangle, you have a fraction that is not simplified. When we have a smaller triangle, you have a fraction that is simplified. All right, so that is technically all you need to have for this slide. If you are not able to follow along in the Desmos activity for some connection issues, go ahead and take a screenshot of this. This is how it should look for it to be completed. I am going to let you guys move on to slide 3. So go ahead and click on the next button here and move on to slide 3. So we're going to have one more example before I let you guys try these on your own of another trick you want to use to make sure you're finding the correct slope. All right, so I'm clicking on next. And this is our second example here. All right. So a lot of you don't have to worry about your movements of going up or down, left to right. If it's too much for you to keep that in mind, that I'm going down, that, okay, I gotta remember that's negative. If I'm going right, I gotta remember that's positive. If that's all too much to think about, You could forget about those signs and use the one trick we taught you at the very beginning when we talked about the different types of slopes. So if you pay attention to this slide, it's saying always check to see if you have the sign for the slope correct by writing or imagining the word slope written on your line. So take your pencil, do me a favor and write the word slope. That's all this is asking you to do for now. When you write that word slope on this line, ask yourself, is this going uphill? If the word is going up, then that is a positive slope. If the word is going down, then that is a negative slope. So let's check before we actually draw any triangles on here. Give me a thumbs up if this line is showing us a positive slope. Is your word going up? Give me a clap if this line here is showing you a negative slope, if this word slope is going down. So thumbs up for negative, thumbs up for positive, clap for negative, and you guys are doing fantastic. This is a clap. So no matter what, even if you don't think about your rise and your run and you don't have any negatives here, you don't have to worry about it until you go up here to your final answer. You just need to tell yourself, I need to have a negative in the front. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is using the directions above, write the words. Oh, we did that. Find the slope of each line and you can use these dots here to create your slope triangle. So you can pick any color at this point. They're not asking you to use a color. So here, I'm going to go from this point to this point, very far away. Keep in mind that they're far away from each other. And I'm going to create a triangle using this dot in the center. So I'm going down and I'm running to the right. Since I know this slope is going to be negative, I'm just going to go in here and write my negative symbol there. Count my run, count my rise and count my run. So this is 1, 2, 3 down. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 spaces. So if I draw this out, that'll take me too long, but we have 12 spaces to the right. So that is a positive 12. So notice I can already tell, well, one number only has a negative. So this is definitely a negative slope. And all you have to do is write 3 over 12. Your guys' pictures are fantastic. You guys actually took the time to count it through this way. Good job, you guys. All right, so a couple of things you want to notice. Big triangles give you a fraction that is not simplified. This is a big triangle. This is not simplified. If you try to find a smaller triangle, that will be simplified. Another thing you want to keep in mind, write the word slope on your lines. That's going to tell you if this should have a negative in the front or if it should just be positive. So I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds. I want to see if you guys can draw a smaller triangle. So can you find 2 points that are closer to each other to draw a smaller triangle? Pick a different color. I'm going to go with green. Oops. And see if I can find a point here that will give me a smaller triangle with another point. Don't pick the points in between. Those points are decimals and they will not help you find a slope. Yeah, no problem. At this point, you can take a screenshot of this one. Oh, good job. So I see someone found a point. Now let me go in here and draw that point here. See, this point is not a perfect corner, that's a decimal. So that point will give you a hard time if you're gonna try to go in there and find the slope. So I think I can zoom in here. If I zoom in, all of these points are not perfect corners, but this one is here. So if you're going to find a smaller triangle, you would want to go with this point. Don't go with that point in the center. This is another perfect corner here, and that would be it. So if you want to draw yourself another triangle, you can use any 2 points along here that are close to each other. I'll use these two. This one went down 1, and it's going over 4 to the right. So really quickly, a -1 over 4 is the exact same thing as a -0.25. You do not need to have this on your paper. I'm just showing you how a smaller triangle will give you a simplified fraction, a fraction in simplest form. So you don't need that, but I'm showing you different triangles give you the same slope, just simplified. All right, so I would like for you guys to use all of these techniques we talked about in the second slide and in this third slide to help you guys out and work through slide 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I am going to go in here and allow you guys to move on to slide 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those are now open. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this one here. If you are having connection issues, thank you for letting me know. And what you want to do next is click on the next button. That'll take you to slide 4. It is asking you to do the same thing. Write the word slope and check if that is a positive slope or a negative slope, and then use your points to draw yourself some triangles. Do you have to draw this big triangle? No, you can find yourself a smaller triangle if you want. Slide 5 has you draw, so this time you have to draw 2 different. So you actually need to draw 2 different slope triangles, one in red, one in blue, and find the slopes. And also go in there and write the word slope. Check your work. Check yourself. So slope. Also, same thing here, finding the slope, but you need 2 triangles. We need to see 2 triangles on there and different sizes. And number 7. Number 7, be careful, pay attention to your y-axis. Look at how it's going up. So we'll come back and talk about 7 if you couldn't pinpoint the rise here. And then slide 8 has 2 lines. And now you're just finding the slope of 2 lines, but also drawing yourself triangles or just finding rise over run. So we're going to give you the length of 2 songs, which should total about 5-6 minutes. And then any questions you guys have, please let us know in the chat, either to myself or to Doc Brown, or if you're okay with letting everyone know, that works too.
All right.
I'll stop sharing.
I'm gonna kick you off.
Yeah. She's the boss. Yes. Yes, a bigger number can go on top. Good question.
I had a song and it went away. Oh.
Again, a lot of these that we're saying you're working on your own, we're not going to be giving you the answers. So some of you were waiting on slide 4. You shouldn't be waiting on slide 4. You were supposed to work through slide 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to go in here and talk about a couple of these really quickly. To draw your triangles, they are already giving you these points. You just have to connect these points here. Those are your triangles. What's going to be really helpful for you guys is if you write the word slope on your lines. Some of you are going down 7 here and 10 to the left, which tells you a negative divided by a negative is definitely positive. So even if you don't write these signs here, that is okay as long as you're checking your word slope. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and check here. These should have been positive. 2 triangles, if you're drawing 2 triangles, a big triangle are the lines that are further apart. A smaller triangle is lines that are closer to each other. So those could have been, that could have been 2 triangles. You could have drawn it this direction as well, up to you. Give us the slope of those 2. Same thing here. What I do want you to pay attention to is slide 7. So everybody follow me to slide 7. We're gonna do this one together. So at least you get a little freebie here. Go to slide 7. Actually, I'll just restrict you to that one.
Show them who's boss.
Yeah, I'm the boss, guys. See, I just forced all of you to be on slide 7. All right, so here's slide 7. We want to pay attention to your y-axis. We have the number 25, the number 50, 75, 100. Okay, think of your money, 25 cents to 50 cents to 75 cents to 100 cents, which is now $1. Okay, what jumps are we making here if you're counting upwards or downwards? What are they going up by? Oh, and since you can't unmute yourself, let me know in the chat. What are they skip counting by on the y-axis? Yeah, thank you very much. 25. 25 plus 25 is 50. 75 plus 25 is 100. 100 to 20 to 125. See, we're always going up by 25 on this y-axis. Take a look at your x-axis. We go from 1 to 2, from 3 to 4, these are just skip counting by ones. So here, your rise is gonna be a little different. Your run is just our usual run. So make yourself 2 different size slope triangles. I'm just gonna go ahead and make myself one. This here, I have these 2 dots, so I'll just go ahead and connect these here. That's my blue triangle. One thing I want to keep in mind is that when I write the word slope on here, I see it's going up. So my slope should be positive. So only focus on having positive numbers. All right, we have to count our our rise. We have 25 here, plus another 25 here, plus another 25, plus 25, plus 25. You want to add all these 25 together. 25 plus 25 is 50. Plus 25 is 75, plus another 25, that's a whole $1 or 100 cents, plus another 25, that's 125. So our rise was 125. So I can start writing that in there. Since I did this in blue, I'll just write it here in the blue. My rise was 125. And I'm keeping this positive because I already know this is positive. So I'm just keeping it positive there. We don't want to be negative here. Well, sometimes we have to in math. All right, and now you want to count your run. 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left, but it doesn't matter if I'm going to the left since I already know this slope has to be positive. I'll just keep in mind that that was 3. So the slope here is 125 over 3. Yes, sometimes we will get a bigger number on top, but as long as you keep in mind your rise is the number on the top and run is the number on the bottom, then that's fine. So that is how you would complete slide 7. You're still responsible for doing 4, 5, 6, and 8 on your own. And all of these slides will be open at the end of the class. So if you didn't finish in class, you have time to do it on your own. And all slides will be open. All right, you're still responsible for drawing another slope triangle and giving us the slope of that triangle. Keep in mind that these are going up by a different number. All right, I am now going to open up the other slides. We're going to move on to slide 9. Remember, you're supposed to finish this here for homework on your own if you didn't get to it during our time there. I want you guys all to move along to slide 9. We're going to do slide 9 because it's a little different than what you've been doing in the other slides. And you guys are wonderful. In the other periods, I had to force everyone to go to slide 9, but you guys are doing that on your own. Oh, wait. No, yeah, there we go. There we go. I can force you guys again, though. All right, I don't have to. All right, since you guys are all there, we're going to talk about slide 9. Your reactions are funny. Slide 9 is very similar to the homework assignment. Go back to which one? Did you need a screenshot? 7? There you go. Take a quick screenshot. You're still responsible for that one. All right, you're welcome. All right, slide 9. Very similar to our activity from yesterday when we had 1 point on the graph, and we're going to be using the slope to put another point and create a line. So if you thought yesterday's homework assignment wasn't too bad, it's the same here, but on the digital side. So couple things to keep in mind. When you have a positive slope, we're rising, we're going up, and we're running to the right. If you have a negative slope, you can also think about it as dropping instead of rising. So a negative slope will be a drop and your regular run. So instead of rising, you drop. So keep these things in mind as we read this problem here. It says draw a line with the slope being -1/2. So the slope is a negative slope and we're running, sorry, we're going, oh yeah. We have a rise of a -1 and a run of 2. But we want to use this slope to go through the point 4, 5. So let's go on this coordinate plane and let's find our point 4, 5 that they're giving us here. Remember, X coordinate first, then your Y coordinate. The point 4, 5 is this one here. So put your point 4, 5. And then what we're going to do is use your slope to put some more points. Now, let me do this here on the side. A -1/2 is technically the same as a -1/2. A -1 means we're dropping down 1 and then we're running 2 to the right. Keep these directions in mind. So let's drop 1 and go over 2. See, dropped 1, ran 2, drop 1, run 2 again. This lets us put as many points as we want on here. Drop 1, run 2. All of these points here have the exact same slope. We can go ahead and click on the line section, on the line tool. If you click on the first dot up to the last dot, you have a line now. Now, one thing I want you to notice about this line, it's not a very long line. Short lines are not very helpful. And when we start getting into our last weeks, into our 3rd unit, we want to have long lines. And we're going to show you now how to make a longer line. So look at your line here. We have all of these slope triangles. But remember, we can draw triangles on both the top side, bottom side, the left side, or right side of your line. So do me a favor and click on the color and let's switch that to orange. We're switching it to orange because I want to show you how we can make this line longer by adding points on the other side. So we want to make our line longer to answer this question. At what point does this line cross the y-axis? So if I make this line longer, I want to see where does this line touch the y-axis here. So to do that, we're going to go in the opposite direction. Instead of making our slope triangles down here below our line, let's see what happens if I make a slope triangle on the top of the line. Well, I'm gonna pick this point here and this point here. I can go up now. So I'm doing the opposite. I'm going up and then I'm going to the right. Notice I got two triangles that are still exactly the same, but I'm using the opposite direction. So if I go back to our point where we started, 4, 5, and if I do the exact same thing, if I do the opposite, I should be able to get points on the other side to make my line longer. So I'll go 1, 2 to the left. That gives me another point there. If I go up 1, 2 to the left, I get another point here. See, all we did was do the complete opposite of our original slope, but we still have the exact same triangles, and I can connect all of these and make it longer this time around. So why did we make our line longer? Again, we wanted to see at what point does this line cross the y-axis, and it crosses it right there. You should remember how to find the ordered pair of a point. It's the x coordinate 0 and the y coordinate 7. So this point is at 0, 7, and you just hit submit. So the next couple of slides, slide 10 is exactly the same, but with a different slope. I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. Slide 10 is open, slide 11 is open, and also slide 12 is open. So slide 10 will be the exact same thing as what we did here. So take a screenshot of this before I move on. All right, moving on. Slide 10 gives you another slope, -2, and you have a point 3, 1. So you actually have to go on here and draw your point correctly. X before Y, don't forget that. And then use your slope. This is a negative slope, which means you should be dropping and then running. Do the opposite to find some more points on the other side. Tell us, where does that line cross the y-axis? So that's what you're doing on slide 10. On slide 11, remember our different types of slopes? This is a horizontal line. What do we call the slope when we have this kind of line? What about this line? Think of Spider-Man. When he's climbing up your building, what kind of slope does that have? That's all you're telling us here. Consider what type of slope these have. Think of your different types of slopes. And then just think of how, yeah, good job on this, perfect. Just that. Type that in here. A horizontal line has a blank slope. A vertical line has a blank type of slope. And then for slide 12, you're finding the slope again, drawing a triangle, but you have to pay attention to your x-axis and your y-axis. I flipped that, but pay attention to how we're running and rising and running on your y-axis and your x-axis. Look at those numbers. Always pay close attention to the numbers on your axes. Okay, we're going to give you the length of one song to work through these here. If you're struggling, please take this time to ask us questions. Use this as your own tutoring time. No one's gonna know that you're asking us, and we'll help you out through the chat, or you'll hear me. I can't even say that. You'll hear me talk about it here. End of the song. So I am going to go really quickly through. Had some questions on slide 10. So slide 10, you were supposed to put the point 3, 1. So x before y, so x is 3, y is 1. That means our point is located here. Your slope is a -2. If it's a -2, We need to write that as a fraction by putting the 1 under it. So this is just telling us to drop 2 and 1 to the right. Drop 2 and 1 to the right. So if you keep going along with that, you get a line that we can connect. We can make as long as we want. But for now, I just want you to go the other direction. Look at your triangles that are below here. If we go in the opposite direction, meaning go back to that point and go up 2 and 1 to the left, we get a new point. Up 2 and 1 to the left, we get a new point. This line is not touching your y-axis yet. So just imagine yourself going up 2 again and 1 to the right. Think of where that puts you. If you keep going with your line here, if you're already at 5, and if we go up 2 more, we're at 0, 7 for our y-intercept, for our y-axis. So that is how you would complete 12. That is the last slide that you're responsible for, but right now we're gonna open up all of them. We're getting rid of pacing, and you're only supposed to work on slides 1 through 12. So all of those have to be completed. Do not worry. Do not worry about slide 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. You are not responsible for those. But other than that, I'm gonna show you guys really quickly what your homework looks like. And this way it's recorded also for the other students. If you go to your Google Classroom, the homework is homework number 5 here, where it says slope from a graph. Your exit ticket is also there if you want to quickly work, complete that. The
and
homework
16
assignment.
16 of them have already done it. So
No
thank
way.
you, thank you, thank
you. Good job, you guys. So your homework assignment here is slope from a graph. Google Forms, type in your first name, type in your last name. I'll do this really quickly. And you have some graphs, and the questions are going to ask you if it's a positive, negative, 0, or undefined slope. Pick whichever one you think is correct. So I don't know. I'm just going with the first option. You want to ask yourself, what is the rise? Check your rise and then your run. Whatever your rise is, pick that answer. Whatever your run is, check that answer there. And then finally, give us the slope of the rise over the run. When you click next, it'll take you to another question. And these 2 are the only questions that have a 4 parts to them. The other questions are just asking you what type of slope it is. And then when you're done, you want to hit submit. It should give you the grade. It's all self-graded, and it'll tell you if you got it correct or wrong. And you can even redo the assignment to get a better score. So that is your homework for today. Again, all of these assignments are due on Monday. Is that the final deadline? No, but you don't want to keep letting these assignments pile up on you. So I'll stop sharing here. If Doc wants to add anything to that,
no, that's about it, guys. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashley, Melanie, Chavez, Christian, Narciso, Aaron, Osmar, Katrina, Siklali, Mariela, Joseph, Andres, Bianca, Giovanni, Julian, Brian, Drake, Melanie Sanchez, Star, and Erica. Thank you very much for taking the initiative and doing your exit ticket ahead of time, or like before we even said anything. So please do not leave Zoom without doing that piece. But this video will be posted here in about an hour-ish. It does take a little long so that I can because I have to download it, then upload it to YouTube, and then put it in. And then don't forget to look at your progress report. It will be available to you guys within the next hour. But other than that, have a very good weekend, guys. See you on Monday. Be here Monday.
Bye, guys.